Today, I want to provide you 5 tips for your CV to help you stand out as a pharmacy residency applicant. Number 1, you should highlight your professional pharmacy and not pharmacy related work experience, especially that which you completed in pharmacy school or during your pre-pharmacy coursework. So for example, I played college softball, so I made sure to highlight this in my education section. I said pre-pharmacy coursework and intercollegiate athletics. And then later I highlighted it further in my honors and awards section where I put a couple bullet points outlining the responsibilities and experiences that entailed, just to highlight that I was a college athlete while I was getting my pre-pharmacy coursework done. Other examples that I've seen is students have their master's degree in a profession that was outside of healthcare, and they didn't talk about it in their letter of intent. They didn't put it on their CV before I worked with them. And then I was like, you definitely need to highlight this because that helps you to stand out above and beyond the cookie cutter applicants that you're going to be going up against, because a lot of pharmacy students have the same experiences that you're going to have when submitting applications. Number 2 is an extremely hot topic for CVs and pharmacy residency candidates, and that is to add bullet points or to not have bullet points under your APPE rotations. Now, I would advise you to gain as much feedback as you can from as many different pharmacists as you can, specifically those who completed a residency or involved in residency programs or pharmacy preceptors or mentors from pharmacy school, and then specifically target pharmacist advice in the field that you're going to be applying for residency. So if you're going into acute care programs, poll acute care pharmacist. If you're going to AmCare pharmacy residency, then poll AmCare pharmacists. And then kind of make your own assessment of which would be best for you to do. So in my experience, I decided to go with 2 to 3 bullet points under all of my APPE rotations, and I kept that consistent with my residency CV in my PGY1 and PGY2. And that's because I polled a lot of different pharmacists, and I ultimately decided it was best for me because one of the more important pharmacists that I heard from was an RPD of an ambulatory care residency program, and I completed 2 ambulatory care residencies. So in my 4th year, she was my RPD, she was my preceptor, and she was an RPD of an AmCare program, and she advised me to have 2 to 3 bullet points under my rotation experiences to help me stand out among applicants based on the experiences that I completed on the rotations. Now, with that being said, if you do use bullet points, I would encourage you to highlight experiences that go above and beyond just the rotation description. You don't want to just be defining what the rotation is. You want to be highlighting things that help you stand out based on experiences that you completed on that rotation. So for example, on one rotation, I was involved in a research project and a hospital-wide initiative, and I precepted a pharmacy student when I was a resident. And that can be, further broken down for a 4th year pharmacy student if they were involved in research or different presentations that aren't intuitive for that experience. Now, one way that you can go about creating these experiences to highlight on your CV is on the first day of rotation for a 4th year pharmacy rotation. You could tell the preceptor that you're interested in completing pharmacy residency and you're interested in being involved in any additional projects or research or experiences that they have to offer. The 3rd tip is to strategically lay out your CV beyond the initial sections. So for example, the header is going to be your name and your contact information. Then you're going to have your education. Then you're going to have your professional experience. And next you're going to have your APPE rotations. And then after that, I would be strategic on what comes next as far as the sections for your CV, because you want to highlight what is most important for the residency that you're applying for. So for example, if that residency has a heavy emphasis on research and you have a couple research projects, then I would put that research project section next. If that residency program is very focused on teaching, then I would put the teaching experiences next. So you should be strategic in the layout of your CV based on the type of residency programs that you're applying for and what they value most, so that you can get credit, if you will, on the experiences that you have completed. So definitely have shorter sections like publications or grants that you've applied for at the top, just because they're quick, easy sections to get credit for. And then maybe have your presentations near the bottom. And bonus tip, keep in mind that anything you have on your CV is fair game for a question. So if you have a journal club on your CV, they could ask anything to do with that journal club, like what were the findings, what were the confounders of the trial, what were the strengths and weaknesses of the trial design. Just know that anything is fair game on your CV for a question in a residency interview. Number 4 is a major tip that I encourage you to implement in your CV to help you stand out as a residency applicant in efficiency. So I would have you combine your professional pharmacy organization section with your leadership section, because those are the experiences that you're going to have leadership roles in. And this just helps to streamline and make your CV very efficient for the reader. So for example, you can list out all the organizations that you were involved in, and to the right, or however you signify it in your CV, the dates that you were involved in that organization. And then those will serve as the headers within this section. So the title of the entire section can be Pharmacy, Leadership, and Organization Involvement, or however you want to title this section. And then you would have like many headers, which would be the pharmacy organizations that you were involved in with the dates. And then if you held a leadership position, I would further designate that underneath that. So how I did it on my CV is I bolded the organizations that I was a part of. So for example, APPE. And then if I was a higher member, if I held a leadership higher than just being a member, I would highlight that. So the member would be signified by having the date beside the organization that I was involved in. And then if I was a co-chair or a chair or a secretary, I would put that underneath, kind of indented, and then put the date that I was involved in that leadership position. Number 5, the last tip that I want to highlight, is to outline all of your experiences on your CV within each designated section in reverse chronological order. So that's going to be the most recent experience is listed first. And then with that being said, you're having to update and change your CV a lot, especially when you're about to apply to pharmacy residency. So I really encourage you to look over it as many times as you can and have others look over it. Pharmacy students, residents, preceptors, pharmacy mentors, anyone and everyone. I had my boyfriend at the time, fiance now, look over my CV 1,000 times before I submitted my residency applications, and I sat there and did it myself just to look for spacing errors, inconsistency in fonts, little minute details that make a big difference. If you are neck and neck with another candidate and they see a couple careless mistakes in your CV and your letter of intent, that's going to make you stand out in a more negative light if there's only so many residency interview slots that are given with a program to residency candidates. If a program has a lot of candidates applying, it's going to be really hard to decide who they're going to extend these interview offers to. So that is just my overall final tip. I do offer to look over students' CVs and help them with any part of the pharmacy residency application process. Feel free to reach out to me, message me on Instagram at thefaithfulpharmd, email me, it's my name, Michaela, Micaela, at tailoredpharmacistservices.com. Please reach out if I can help you in any way, and I wish you all the best of luck in editing your CV. Have a great day.